Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals publish to educate their consumers, to grow their practices, and to leave a legacy. We're doing a series of spotlights on remarkable attorneys from across the country with a focus on elder law and estate planning. Joining me on this segment from Ohio is Nancy Roberson. Nancy, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, Mark.
I know that elder law and estate planning is a broad topic, so please tell us briefly a little bit about your areas of focus and the types of clients that you help.
Uh, our office is what is called a boutique law firm that limits its practices to estate planning, probate, trust law, and elder law. And the estate planning area does include some business law as well, because they interface. So, and we have 3 attorneys here and a number of paralegals and support staff. And so we limit our practice to those areas.
Terrific. I understand that elder law is kind of an evolution from estate planning. Like before elder law was even a thing, like what did people do before? Did they speak to estate planning attorneys or what happened?
They did.
What?
They did. And actually, when I got in the business back in the 1980s, the focus of estate planning, because elder law is becoming a separate discipline, but for a long time it was part of estate planning. And back in the 80s, the focus of estate planning was primarily tax planning, because there was a low federal estate tax exclusion amount, and Ohio had an Ohio estate tax, and so that had a low exclusion amount. So in many cases, our document production and discussion focused on how people could minimize the impact of federal and Ohio estate taxes. As Ohio estate taxes were eliminated, and then the federal estate tax exclusion amount has grown to a significant figure, and the population has aged, other issues have come to light. The primary issue of which is financing long-term care. And so we often spend a lot of time talking with clients about that issue. Actually, we start, legal age in Ohio is 18, and we start educating our clients, because that's one of the purposes of this law firm, is to educate people about what they need to know about estate planning. And so I tell young people and young couples, now, you're just probably going to think that I'm out of my mind, but at some point in time, usually around age 50, I'm going to want you to consider getting long-term care insurance. And then I educate them about what long-term care insurance is. And it's insurance that will pay for assisted living and nursing home costs, because there is a great misunderstanding among people that either their private health insurance will cover the cost of assisted living and long-term care, or Medicare will cover the cost if they once they become eligible for Medicare. And of course, that's not true except for a short-term stay in rehab for a knee replacement or something like that. So we start very early educating our clients about the costs of nursing home, and then nursing home care. And then we, regardless of their age, for example, a couple comes in and they're, say, 50-ish. And one of the things that I will tell them, if I can tell that they would probably qualify for long-term care insurance, is that you need to get long-term care insurance. Now, if someone comes in and he or she has been diagnosed with having a stroke or Alzheimer's or some kind of a catastrophic illness, it would be unkind for me to suggest that, and I don't, except for perhaps the spouse of the person who's been diagnosed. But in general, we promote long-term care insurance. We don't sell it. And I tell my clients, I don't get anything out of promoting this other than maybe a box of candy at Christmas time. But certainly financial, minimizing the impact of long-term care costs is a significant focus on elder law.
That's really sage advice and interesting insight. I feel like this is like elder law and estate planning needs a advertising campaign like milk does a body good to get people to
Yes.
pay attention to this earlier on, because I understand, aging is a sensitive subject. People kick the can down the road. They hear the word estate planning. They're thinking, I'm too young for that. I don't even have anything to plan for.
Right.
But I
Right.
hear that that's not really the case. People should actually start putting something in place as young as 18. Could you just speak
That's
to that?
right. That's right. I can. We've often offered a college student special in which we've provided simple documents for people who are 18 or over, to have a simple will, to have healthcare directives, meaning a healthcare power of attorney and a living will, or just a healthcare power of attorney. Living will might be overkill for a really young person, unless they feel adamantly about that. And also a general durable power of attorney. You know, the nationwide cases with regard to catastrophic healthcare issues, Nancy Cruzan, Terry Schiavo, those were young women. They were young. They were not old, and they did not have any documents in place to direct their family members on their wishes. And so it's extremely important for people of any age to have estate planning documents.
That's really, really fascinating. Uh, Nancy, this is really specialized knowledge for elder law and estate planning. What inspired you to get into the field and really focus on elder law and estate planning? How did you get started in the field?
Um, I uh, my mission, and this really is my mission and my vocation in life. But sometimes you see things backwards, you know. And I knew that after my first husband died young, he was 28 and I was 27, and our daughter Amy was 2. I knew that I needed to do better in life for Amy and me. I was one of those women who had a college education as something to fall back on. Thank God for that. And so I applied to UD Law School and was accepted. But frankly, I did not know what I wanted to do. However, this is where an excellent professor can really guide people into their professions. And I found that I really liked tax work, and I found a couple of professors, my tax professor and my wills professor, who were very good and inspiring. And then after I got out of law school, I was introduced to a financial planner. I was a single parent then, went to law school after David died, and I knew that I needed life insurance. And through that relationship, he asked me if I could review some trusts that had been written for his clients. And because I had taken the estate planning track of courses, because of this one professor who I liked so much, I said yes. And I found that I really liked that work. I am a grammar nerd. My undergraduate degree from Indiana University is in English, and I love words. I'm a scrivener. I'm not in the English sense. I'm not a barrister. I don't argue cases. Although I do go to court occasionally. But so I found myself to these clients who had trusts, recognizing that they needed wills and powers of attorney and that sort of thing. And that's really how my practice started. And then people started their family members started they started referring their family members to me. Other financial advisors heard about me. I did networking, to be sure. I joined networking groups. I started doing speaking, and I've done a lot of speaking over the years and continue to do that today. And of course, that has developed clients as well. Although I do have to tell you, in this the honest God truth, I never did speaking to develop clients. Um, I have a heart to educate people, and that's what my speaking is about. And lo and behold, I discovered that clients, people would call after hearing me speak and say, "Hey, can you do some of that stuff for me?" And naive Nancy here. I was very grateful for the work that followed.
That's fantastic. And yeah, gaining clients is a happy byproduct of educating consumers. So you got to
Yes,
love
it
that.
is.
It's
Hmm.
everybody wins from that.
Yes.
So
Uh-huh.
before I ask you my last question, Nancy, for folks that really are listening and becoming more aware that they need to get their ducks in a row, but they just don't know where to start, what would you tell them? Where's the first place for them to start, and what should they really be considering in that consultation?
For an estate planning or elder law appointment, is that what you're? Or
Yes.
okay, okay. Well, I can tell you for people who call our office, we send out a packet of information that includes an article that we've written to acquaint people about the things that they need to know about estate planning. Now, if they're looking for a lawyer, ask your friends. A personal recommendation is usually a pretty good source. People have strong opinions about lawyers, good and bad. Um, I found when after my first husband was diagnosed, um, I got connected with our first lawyer um, through the Dayton Bar Association. I knew, and I was not a lawyer then, but I knew enough that there was this bar association, and I called, and they had a referral service. So I would, and they still have that today here in Dayton. So for people who are don't know where to start and really don't have anybody to ask, they could start with the bar association as well. Although, having worked with many accountants and financial advisors, they know who the good attorneys are. We all know, even if a person doesn't know an estate planning lawyer but knows a personal injury lawyer, for example, that personal injury lawyer probably knows who the good estate planning lawyers around are.
For folks listening now who are in Ohio or a place that you can serve, how can they find you, connect with you, and learn more?
Well, thank you for asking. We have a website, www.dayton-attorney.com. Our telephone number is 937-313-6733. We are located at 1225 East David Road in Kettering, Ohio, 45429.
Nancy, this has been terrific. I really appreciate your great insights and sharing with my audience today. And I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thank you. Thank you. This has been a blessing for me, and I wish you the best.
Nancy Roberson out of Ohio. And this segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals publish to educate their consumers, to grow their practices, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.